Hello everyone, here we go. It is Technique Tuesday and today is 2 p.m. November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th. Now, for those of you in Australia, the first Tuesday in November is a particular kind of day. It is actually Melbourne Cup Day, and not everyone in the country follows the Melbourne Cup. I'm not personally someone who follows the Melbourne Cup, but in Victoria, it's such a big deal. It is a horse race, but it's such a big deal down there that they actually have a public holiday for Melbourne Cup Day. But all over the country, people dress up. They put on their race day clothes, hats, and dress up real pretty and go out to lunch. In fact, my husband, all of his work is out of Melbourne Cup lunch right now. So there you go. But I'm at home by myself, so I'm not doing anything Melbourne Cup wise. I'm crafting instead. And for me, that's my favorite thing to do. So that is always better than attending a horse race. But it's a big deal. Is anyone here watching the Melbourne Cup today? I should be finished before the race is actually on. The race is usually a little bit after 3 o'clock, and I estimate that I will normally finish my Technique Tuesday in under an hour or thereabouts. So that is the plan. I plan on having you all ready to go watch the Melbourne Cup if that's your jam, if that's your thing. Who's watching? Anyone? I'm just having a little look to see. You're not into horse racing? No, me either, Sheila. That's not my thing. But even though I've never been into horse racing, I did used to really enjoy when I was like working out in the corporate world, and everything. Everyone would have like a big barbecue or a lunch or something, and all celebrate the Melbourne Cup. That was fun. Do a sweep, that kind of thing. But I've never done it outside of the corporate world. So, and I haven't worked. I've been working for myself since 2002. That's when I started, contracting. But I still used to go into a workplace, but I've not actually worked since 2002. Well, I've worked since 2002, working for myself. That's no walk in the park either. but you know what I'm saying. So not out in an office. Hello, Kia ora, indeed. Hello, Deborah. How are you? Leslie's here. Maria. Hi, Maria. You said you've been away for a few days. Barbara's here. Who else do we have? Hello, Marty. I know this is a better time for you, isn't it? These Technique Tuesdays are always at this time, and I know a lot of my US friends are able to watch, whereas my evening ones that I do on Friday and Sunday nights are not great for my North American audience. So they will have to watch the replay on those ones. But we have lots of people watching this one. Let me just go over 1 second. I'm just going to change a setting, and I'm going to see if I can do this without causing any issues. I just need to change, and I'm going to I like to add a description into the video underneath. So I'm going to do that right now, if it will let me do it. Let me see. For those of you who are in Australia, I earlier today put a video up, not very long ago, a video up about the new kit that came out today. Did anyone see the new watercoloring kit? So good. Oh my goodness, it's fabulous, and I cannot wait to get I've got it sitting on my order that I'm about to place. I really, really can't wait for this one. I think it's such a great kit. It's called Nature's, hang on, I've got it here. It's called, oh, no, I've just got a photo of it. It's not actually the name of the kit. It's Nature's something. Nature's Colors, Nature's Prints. I don't know. I'll need to look it up. Somebody will know. I'll check in the comments because somebody will answer me faster than I can look it up. You just watched that video, Leslie. I know, isn't it great? Such a good kit. I think it's the best one we've had in a long, long time. Marty, you said you used to love horse racing. Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people are worried about treatment of horses, and that's really turned a lot of people off, hasn't it? Okay. All right. Let me switch over today because we have this new kit coming out, and it is a watercolor kit. Basically, the new kit, I'll show it to you because I took photos. Well, I printed out a couple of pictures from the website, and I will show you. I don't actually have the real thing to show you yet because today's the first day we can order it as well. So let me switch over. This is it. I don't know if you can see it very well. I'll try and bring it up close enough. So it is basically a book of watercolor designs or prints like a coloring book. But it comes with the colored pencils that you're going to need to make all the pictures, and, you know, samples of how you could do them, and a water painter. That's all included in there. Okay, these are gorgeous. I'm wondering how many sheets does it have. Let me have a quick look at it, because I feel like I need to know. Let me see. Oh, just a moment, guys. Sorry about this. I should have known all this before, but I didn't. And it's called Nature's Paintings Kit is what it's called. And I'm just reading the description. It says it includes everything you need for a fun, creative experience. The watercolor pencils, water painter, and the coloring book. So it's watercolor paper that's in there as well, or that's how I understand it. But can't wait to see, you know, what it's like when I see it in real life. And I'm just looking to see if it says how many pictures. It doesn't, but the photograph has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe that's all. Don't know if that's all that's in it, but it's really lovely. And so there's sunflowers and roses. So these look like peonies, don't they? And there's some flowers that I recognize and some that I don't. This looks like, these are like poppies, these ones. And there's some poinsettias here. And this looks like a waratah. Can anyone confirm? That's a waratah, right? Oh my goodness. I'm excited if it is, because waratahs are one of my most favorite flowers in the whole wide world, and they are Australian natives, so that'd be so cool if that's what that is. How exciting. You'll order the kit this afternoon? Me too. Yeah, it's sitting on my order right now. Can't wait to hit that submit button, because I want to get it as soon as I can. Looks so nice. Are the watercolors pencils new colors? Good question. I don't think so. Daffodil Delight, Coastal Cabana, Pumpkin Pie, Flirty Flamingo, Red, Berry Burst. Oh, Berry Burst. I think that's a new one. Early Espresso and Garden Green. Okay, so no, they're not new colors. It's like a combination of colors that are in the standard watercolor pack and the alternative new color pack. It's a combination, but I don't remember Berry Burst being in those. Maybe it is in the new color pack. I don't know if anyone wants to look that up and can confirm, but I'll look it up later and find out. Anyway, let's get back, and then I can see all your comments again. I know, it'd be great to do, and I thought, because we're doing, because I wanted to show off this today, I'm going to do a watercolor technique with you guys today. Okay, I have not made the cards. I only have a vague idea of what I want to do with them. And I thought we'd do some no-line watercoloring today, because I have not done this for Technique Tuesday, and it's a favorite technique of mine. Who has tried no-line watercoloring? And who is saying to themselves, what the heck is no-line watercoloring? What are you talking about, Linda? Okay, first of all, we need a few supplies. How much is it? It's $44, Leslie. That's retail, but as a demonstrator, you'll get a demonstrator discount off that. So you won't be paying retail if you're a demonstrator, which is great. How do you spell the flower name? It's Waratah, Waratah, and it's actually the state flower of the state that I live in. And if you like, those of you who are my Facebook friends, and also in my private VIP group, I'll put up some photos of some waratahs, because that way it'll, you know, I love them. And in fact, we've just kind of come out of waratah season. Usually September, October is when they are in full bloom. And by now it's early November. So I'm expecting, if I was to drive, there's only certain areas that they're found in. They're like a bush flower. But I think they're probably finished flowering now. So there you go. What is that, says Leslie? Well, it is exactly what it says. Okay, never got around to it, Julianne. All right, so let's start with what you need, first of all. No-line watercolouring is what it says it is. It is watercolouring where the lines don't show. No-line watercolouring, hence the name, okay? And what I'm doing is I'm going to use our beautiful Fluid 100 watercolour paper. I love this paper. I don't know if I can get it close enough. Yeah, I can. You can kind of see the grain in like it's got like little, it's smooth, but it's got ridges if you have a look very closely there. And that is called, in technical terms, that is called tooth, the tooth of your paper. So, you know, if I was to look at a piece of a basic white, there is zero tooth. It has no tooth. It is completely compressed and completely smooth. But a paper like this has what we call tooth. And the tooth actually adds to the way your project turns out. So if you're watercoloring, the basic surface of the paper forms part of the design in a way, if that makes sense. You can't see berry burst in either of the pencil packs. That's what I thought it was new. So that's really exciting to have berry burst in a pencil. I'm very excited about that. That's another reason to buy that kit. Great. So yes, it is beautiful to work on, and we'll be using that today. And I'm going to use one sheet. In fact, we'll probably end up using all parts of the sheet. And I'm going to start by bringing in my trimmer, and I'm going to cut it exactly in half. Now, in inches, this is 5 inches across by 7 inches long, okay? And it has the measurements in centimeters here, 5 by 7 inches or 12.7 by 17.8 centimeters, okay, if you need the metric. But it's easy enough because this is 7 centimeters long. I know that 3.5 is going to be exactly halfway, all right? And when I cut a piece of watercolor paper in half, that's almost exactly the right size for a panel on a card, all right? So it's a really good size if you cut them in half. You can, of course, cut them in other shapes, and you can die cut it and all sorts of things. And I may do a die cut in a little bit. And then the next thing we need stamps, okay? Stamps that have what I call line drawing stamps. Okay, so these are line drawing. Okay, you can color them in, you can color them with blends, you can color them with watercolor, you can color them with pencils, you can do whatever you like, but you can color these a whole bunch of different ways. Okay, they are line drawings, and so you're looking for line drawing stamps. And sometimes I'll look at my, this is like, I always try and make sure I have at least a couple of line drawing stamps in my stamp collection in case I want to watercolor, right? So these ones are a couple of the, like I've just pulled a couple out that I really like to use with line drawing. So this one, Enduring Beauty, has been around a little bit longer, but you can see it has a nice line drawing image. The Layers of Beauty, same thing. It has the roses. And then we have the citrus blooms, which have the lemons and the oranges and all that kind of stuff, right? So you have a number of options for line drawing with these particular stamps. I'm going to use the hibiscus today as well, because that also is good for no line watercoloring. It has some line drawing stamps in here. We also have some colored ones to do 2-step stamping. The Happy Hibiscus is a really, really good set. This is out today, okay, just right now. One of the reasons I like this set so much is it lends itself to a lot of different techniques. So you can do two-step stamping with it. You can stamp these guys and then stamp these ones to color it in. You can color them with, you know, all your different blends and watercolors and so forth. You can emboss with them. You can do a whole bunch of different things. So it makes it a very useful set. And I've been using it for lots of different techniques already. So I'm going to start first of all, though, by doing just a no line drawing, and I'm thinking I might go with this orange here. I did that in when we did bleaching last week. I did the same one. I'm just thinking maybe I should have pulled out something different. I don't know. But anyway, let's just start with this one. I'm going to give you a couple of different options. No line watercoloring literally means that when the technique is finished, when you're finished watercoloring, it should be difficult to see the lines. I'm not going to say you won't see them at all, because you might, depending on what color you use to do your stamping. Okay, so how much you see is kind of up to a few things. It's how dark the colors are that you're working with for your watercoloring, and it's also to do with how you know, what color you use to do the actual image in the first place. That's not quite on the block, but I'm just going to say that's good enough. If you decide you do like the lines, okay, so normally if I was watercoloring, I would choose to work with Stays On ink. Okay, I would work with probably most times jet black Stays On. Okay, it does leave, and I mean, it looks fine. There's nothing wrong with having lines, but it's a totally different look when you don't have them. And there is an alternative to Stays On. It's another Stays On. I don't know if anyone's seen this, but we also have Saddle Brown Stays On. Does everyone know that we sell this? Last time I checked, it was out of stock, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. Let me go in there and just see if that is still the case. Saddle Brown ink or Stays On was out. Yes, it's still out. The ink pad is still out. If you have one of these, you can still buy the re-inker. The re-inker is available as far as I know, but the Stays On ink saddle brown ink pad is actually out. But I use this sometimes if I want a softer effect. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm just going to ink it up just to give you a bit of a feel for it. And I'm going to stamp this right about here, just to give you, and you can see it's a lot lighter than, say, if you had stamped it with Stays On jet black ink, and it would still give you a nice finish. Okay, so that would work. And if I color with this, so let's bring in a color. What color will I start with? I might start with some peach pie. Been using peach pie a lot lately, probably because of the hibiscus set, because I've been doing a lot with orange hibiscus. I'm going to be using one of my water painters. So I've got one right here. And I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of water onto the block here. And this is my favorite way to get my, because I can saturate the end here. And I find this is the best way. You can also do other ways, like, you know, what am I trying to say? Now I'm painting and I can't concentrate because all I can do is concentrate on the painting, which is why I love painting so much, because, you know, it helps you forget other stuff. But it's not good when you're trying to do a live video. All right, I'm going to add a bit more color where it's not, and I'm going to be a bit darker down here. And I'm just using the very, very tip of my water painter. I filled up my water painter just at the tap. And then I'm going to squeeze a little bit more water through, and I'm going to start. So it's not going to have as much color. Now you can still see the lines here. Okay, so this is not actually no line watercoloring, but I wanted to show you how saddle brown will give you a nice effect that is a lot less harsh than the dark, than the black. Now I'm going to add a bit more color just to have a bit of fun here. I'm going to go another one. I'm going to use pumpkin, and I'm going to darken this up a little bit down the bottom. But I wanted to give you an idea. And if you have any white bits, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, can you see there's a few little white bits that I've left because it looks like the light hitting. And I'm kind of just building up a little bit of color here. Okay, so I'm just giving you an example with the saddle brown, how that looks. Who didn't know that we sell saddle brown ink? Because I think a lot of people don't know that. A little bit of water through. Okay, let me go back. Oh, hello, Leslie Kilby. Oh, of course it's the middle of the night. Are you not sleeping? It does have its place in crafting, absolutely. And I love the saddle brown to give me an effect that is less harsh. So you can see that our orange around here has started to blend in a little bit. It almost looks like it's blended in with that saddle brown, okay? Whereas if I'd use the black would be quite a big contrast. There's not as much contrast here, and that's why it looks a lot softer. No, you haven't missed too much at all. That's fine, Nola. Nice to have you with us. All right, so that's just to give you an idea. All right, let's use, I've got plenty of, what's it called? Fluid 100 watercolor paper, heaps and heaps. And I'm going to give you, we're going to do a second one. I'm going to put the Stays On away so I'm not tempted to use it again. Because I've only just used that, you can clean your Stays on your scrub with just mist if you do it quickly. If you let it set on your stamp, then you'll need to use Stays On cleaner, and that's one reason why I tend to use rubber stamps if I'm going to use Stays On. Okay, now this Citrus Bloom set, so you can see that's come up quite clean. This Citrus Bloom set does actually, I'm going to keep those out because I'm going to use it again, does have rubber stamps, whereas these guys, I think these two are both photopolymer, so I don't want to be using those with my Stays On ink. Okay, so I tend to keep, because I don't like using Stays On cleaner on photopolymer stamps. All right, so let's get another piece. Here's another piece over here, and this time I'm going to I'm going to do this again, but this time I'm not going to use StazOn, okay? I'm going to pick a light color, but a light color that I can still work with, okay? Oh, that's good. So you've got some time to spend with us now, Marilyn. Awesome. Hello, Solveig. Nice to see you. All right. Ah, there you go, Nicole. You knew about that then. All right, I'm using Basic Beige. I actually haven't tried this before, Basic Beige with this particular technique, but I'm going to guess that it's going to work out quite well. Okay, so I've gone really, really light now. But you could use any light color. Smoky Slate is another option. Crumb Cake, if it's not too dark, like if you haven't got if it's a very new ink pad, I'd probably be stamping that one off. What else could we use? Grey Granite. Grey Granite is another good option. You can also go like soft. You can pick a color that you're going to be working with. Soft Seafoam is a good color. So I've used Basic Beige, and as you can see, it's quite light. All right. And this one is going to be great with our no-line watercoloring. So I'm just going to add a bit more peach pie to my dimensional backing sitting there on my ink pad, of course. And then I'm using just a couple of little blocks. So I've got a couple of B's and a couple of C's that I'm probably going to use with this. And you can see I'm still using the same one. I'm going to push some water through it and make sure it's loaded up with that color. And I'm going to start coloring. Now, when you use a light color like this, and also it's a water-based color, which means it is going to blend and bleed with your color that you're adding with your water. Okay, so I'm just sort of going, I like to go around the edges first and kind of make a border all the way around, because then I've got somewhere to work in between. And I'm just going to kind of use just the tip, and I'm going right over the whole thing. All right, so at the end, when we add our darker color, you're hardly going to be able to see this. You won't be able to see hardly the lines at all, and it's going to give us quite a different effect. So I'm now filling it in. And then I'm going to come in with my darker color, and I'm going to add some. So this is the top of the orange is up. The sun or the light would be here at the top, and underneath is going to be darker. That's where our shadow would be. So I'm just going to come around here and just work my way around. Any little white spots, don't worry about them. They add to the look, it makes it look fancy. And I'm also, there's going to be a bit of shade up here where these leaves are, so I'm going to make it a bit darker up there as well. Okay. So can you see that we've really lost a lot of that definition around the outside? And that's okay. I'm going to add a little bit more even darker by not watering it down. So you just don't add, you don't squeeze any water through, and you don't pick it up from where the watery bits are. We're just going to add some darker color there. So it's starting to get look like it has a bit more shadow underneath. Okay, we can come back in and fill these white bits if we decide we don't like them at the end. But I'm actually fine with that. All right, so I'm going to clean off my brush. Now, when you're working with watercolors, all you want to do is have some scrap paper handy, squeeze it, and you can see it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter, and by the time I'm up the end here, it's almost completely clean. So you then can pick up another color. So that's why water painters, or one reason why water painters are so versatile. You know, you can really come in with those and get them nice and clean. Now I'm thinking maybe yellow flowers might be nice. So let me grab, I think, a bright yellow. So I'm going to go with daffodil. I could go lemon lolly if I wanted it to be softer, but I'm going to go daffodil. Here's my, and I'm going to squeeze my water again, and now I'm picking up yellow. Same brush. Just a quick word about the brushes come in sets of 3. Okay, so if you're looking for these, and the sets that you get, I'm actually using the medium tip, but you can also use the narrow tip. If it's very fine, in fact, I probably, thinking about it for the flowers, I probably should use the finer one, but there's not a lot of difference between these two. I don't know if you can see them both. One's a little bit finer than the other. And then you've also got a big thick brush that does a wash. So these are great for doing backgrounds, okay? And I've just filled them up at the tap. They just unscrew in the middle. You stick them under the tap, pop a bit of water in them and stick it back on again. All right, super, super easy to use. This is the most portable way. If you want to do, want to go on a trip and you want to, I don't know, do some watercolor on a train trip or in the car or something, you could use these. These are very, very portable and I love them for that reason. All right, I'm actually going to pick up with my narrower brush and I'm going to use, and I'm going to I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to kind of, because we are going to lose most of our definition of these little flowers. But I'm thinking, also, sometimes I leave a little bit of white. Let me bring this up so you can see. A little bit of white between, like, the edge of the flower and the orange there, so that the white bits itself forms like a border or a line, so it helps the two not look like they're just bleeding together. But we're losing our lines as we paint, and that is actually as it should be, because guess why? It's no line watercoloring, right? Now, I find this technique very, very therapeutic. Super, super nice to do. I'm wondering what color. Should I do the yellow for the little buds? Can you see the little buds down the bottom? I'm wondering whether they should be yellow as well, or whether I should do. I'll leave them to last and then we can make that decision. Okay, I'm going to get rid of my, actually I might go back to the other pencil and I'm going to get rid of my color again, because I picked up that yellow originally with this brush. Okay, see it's coming clean, which means I'm ready to pick up another color. All right, so now we get to choose what greens. Now the greens in the paper that matches this packet, I've actually got the packet close by. Give me 1 second. It's right here. The greens that are in here are balmy blue, boho blue, Cajun Crow, garden green, old olive. Yeah, garden green and old olive. And I'm wondering, maybe I'll go with old olive because I don't know that I actually want to use garden green with this. But let's try old olive and see how that goes. If you wanted to darken it up, this morning, for those of you who are demonstrators, they did a great presentation on the Demonstrator Planning Place, which is like a special Facebook group for demonstrators. And they talked about color buddies. Did anyone see that presentation? And to me, there's some wonderful things that are color buddies and work really, really well together. But Old Olive and Mossy Meadow are like made to go together. There's such good colors. So a nice afternoon beach strip. Sorry, did I miss a comment? Not sure that I understand. All right, so I'm going to squeeze and I'm just going to have a couple of drops of water come out here, and then I can start to load up my brush with that water. And if you're worried that there's too much water, okay, there's a couple of things I recommend that you have on hand. Have some paper towel and have that just sitting. I'm just going to put a piece. So I'm going to fold that piece over. And I have that there. If I want to take any color off, that just helps me water it down a little bit. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to use the very, very tip of my brush to come down. Now the lines aren't going to disappear immediately, and if you don't want the lines to disappear, just go over them with it slightly watered down and a bit of color removed like I just did. But I'm going to come back in once I've actually done this, and I'm actually going to darken up the edges. So I'm going to come back in where I haven't put the water, and I'm going to start adding a bit of darker color. But because there's enough water in my brush, I kind of get away with it, and I'm just literally using the very, very tip of the brush. Don't use the whole thing. Okay, then back into the watery bit, get rid of some color, and then we're going to pick up the next one. So I'm just doing one leaf at a time. And you can see we are still seeing the veins of the leaf. If I didn't want to see those, then I would add more water and more ink, and I would darken those up. You see there? We still can see those lines at the moment. I kind of like that though. I kind of like that we can still see them. I'm going to darken this up a little bit around here. And it starts to all blend together with all the colors and everything. All right. So this is a nice watercolor technique. I didn't take off the color, but that's okay. Doesn't really matter. See how this is actually a good example. Because I didn't take off the color, it means it was wetter when I put it down. And because it's wetter and the ink, the basic beige ink that we stamped with is a water-based ink, it's bled in a little bit more and you lose some of the definition of those lines. Here we took some of the water off, so we still kept the lines. I'm so sorry, guys. Because I'm concentrating, I'm missing so many comments. I'm so sorry. That's true. You can do that too, Marty. That's a great idea. All right. Let me see. Just going to... And any little areas, just use the very, very tip of your brush and kind of outline it first and then fill it in. And it's quite light because I haven't added any extra ink. If you just use the very end of your brush, you have quite a lot of control. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't, if they have tried watercoloring and didn't like it, that's usually the reason they don't like it, because they don't feel like they have enough control. I think if you just use the very tip and you're very careful about, you know, how much ink you're adding, then you feel like it is a lot more controlled. You feel like it is, the color goes where you want it. All right, does this make sense? And can you see how it actually looks like a watercolor creation that an artist might make? You know, yes, we have used stamps, and there's nothing wrong with using stamps, but there's something very, very therapeutic and quite calming about doing this. And I find I just like adding little bits of color and darkening it up where I want it to be. What do you think? It's coming together, yeah? All right, so this is just a stem down here. So I'm just going to use the tip of my... And the thing about watercoloring, one of the reasons that watercoloring looks amazing and as a technique is because it's not perfect. Do not feel like you need to be doing some sort of perfect creation, because the whole thing about what gives watercolor its life and energy is the imperfections, the little bits of white, the edges, it's just such a calming thing to do. All right, starting to come together now, yeah? It is beautiful, I know, right? It's just lovely. You're used to being ignored. I hope I'm not being compared to a primary school student. Thanks, Nicole. I'm so sorry. All right, so shall we do yellow flowers here? That's my question. And I'm thinking about the center of my my little flowers. I feel like I want to add a darker color. I'm wondering maybe about adding a little bit of early espresso in the middle of those flowers. Would they look... What does everyone think? What sort of coloring should I do there? Or I could add a diamante or something like that, but I'm thinking maybe... It's a favorite illustrator tool. I know, it really is. Yellow, says Sheila. Okay, so that's for the buds. So let's... I've still got yellow on this one, so let's grab this one back in, and I'm just going to come down. So we've... Get rid of a bit of water. So anytime you feel like there's too much water on your brush, dab it on your paper towel. I always keep that very, very handy right near my hands so that I can... And if something's very wet and you want to go over it with a darker color, blot it with your paper towel. Okay, can you see how I just took most of the color out of those, which actually I quite like? I'm going to go back in to the area of my block where I don't have any water and add a little bit more darker yellow around the edges. And that looks really good, actually. So that gives them a little bit more interest because they're not just all the same color yellow. So what color did we decide should go in the middle of the flowers? Way bigger than you. Really, Nicole? All right, so how are we doing here? Is this making sense to everybody, what we're doing? And do we think that using early espresso in the center, maybe if I water it down a bit, that might work really well. And because I'm going up to a darker color, I'm not worried about not worried about cleaning my brush off. I'm just gonna, I'm only going to use a small block. I'm just going to use the end, because I have hardly any to do. This is block G, and I'm just going to use the end, and I'm going to drip some water on it and make it, just add a little bit of color in the middle here. I don't want it dark, I just want it to be a little bit defined. I'm sorry, I've gone all quiet again. That's what happens when you're colouring. I'm going to leave those couple of bits of white. I actually don't mind that. And you can just clean off your blocks on your, you can clean them on your scrub, or, you know, baby towel, paper towel, or baby wipe, or whatever you like. You know, that's easy. It's an easy cleanup. All right, so what I'm going to do here is quickly, I'm actually going to cut this out, and I'm thinking, what will I cut it with? What about, here's a stylish shapes die. What about if we did, I'm deciding how I would want this to be. So it's kind of just off that. If we did that on one of these, do we like that? It does look, you know why watercoloring works so well? Because your brain fills in the bits that aren't done, and that's what helps make it look real. Okay, so that's a really, really cool. Diagonal is interesting. Like, well, wouldn't quite work because of my paper not being quite wide enough, but that's kind of diagonal. What do you think? But I'm actually thinking about putting it straight onto, I mean, I could just cut it on here, just cut it right here and put it on a card, but I'm actually going to cut it out. I just think that'd look nice. So give me 1 second while I pop that through my cut and emboss machine. If you wanted to color around the edges, you could, you know, add some pool party around the edges or something like that. That would look nice. So I'm not going to worry about it right today. But I'm going to keep this pretty simple, and we're going to make a very simple card with this. I wanted to use the hibiscus too. I wonder if we have time, because I need to get you guys ready for Melbourne Cup for those of you who want to do it. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to do the hibiscus now, and I will post a card that I've made with this. I've already got it in my head exactly what I want to do, and you'll see that appear later. All right. So let me grab another piece of the cardstock. Give me 1 moment, guys. I'm just trying to tidy things up a little bit because I've got stuff everywhere. Another sheet of watercolor paper. I'm going to do the same I did before, and I'm going to cut it in half. At the 3.5 mark, 3.5 inches that is, which is exactly half of the full 7 inches of the sheet. All right, so I'm going to stamp. I'm going to use Happy Hibiscus, and I'm going to stamp this guy here. And I'm going to do it once again. I've decided I really like basic beige ink. I think basic beige ink for this is working really well. So I'm going to pop that on a block. And I'm going to pop it right about here. So any color, but I think basic beige will be my new favorite for watercoloring, for no line watercoloring. Like so. Now, if you don't even want the basic beige to be as dark as that, I'm leaving it full strength because it's easier for you guys to see in the video, but you can stamp it off and make it even lighter. And then it's even going to give you a, but you can see we've lost most of the line in this one. You can hardly see it. All right. So, right. So I'm going to grab, what color shall I do my flowers? Shall I stick with peach pie again? And I'd like to do a red one, actually. I think I'll make this one peach pie. Like I said, this has been my new favorite color lately since this set came out. And I'm going to squeeze this through because it's got early espresso in it and we need it to be clear. So just, that's looking good. Move that out of the way. Just on the scrap. And then I'm going to drip some water. Just 1 or 2 drops is plenty, and then I'm going to start coloring. And same as I did before, I'll probably outline it first because then I can start playing around with the inside much easier once you've done the outline. I'll do 1 petal at a time, and I'm squeezing a little bit more water through so that we can play with that a bit. If you have any white areas, leave them. Don't feel like you have to color everything in. You can be quite rough and quick with this. It's not about being precise. Squeeze. Where's my paper towel? Actually, I need another piece. Purples, yeah, that might be nice. I might do some purples. I just like my hibiscus to be a little bit realistic. And I don't know, do hibiscus come in purple? That's a good question. Very good question. Like so. So even just a really rough watercoloring like that, and it actually looks not bad, but we're going to make it look better by adding some more colors. So I might as well just do the one for now, and then I'll start on the next one. I'm going to add some pumpkin around the edges like we did before. Pumpkin is a very, very strong orange. I tend not to use it as often as a lot of other colors because of that. It's so strong. Cajun Craze, another really strong rust kind of color, and so because of that, I just don't use it as often. I prefer probably a softer color palette, but make sure I haven't got too much water on that. Well, just for fun yesterday, I was went out to check the mail, and it had been raining a little bit, and I forgot that our driveway is very slippery when it's raining. Guess who took a tumble down the thankfully only one knee. I took all the skin off one knee, all the skin off the same ankle, and my toes. All my toes have got skin off them. It was very, the first thing you do when you fall over, the first thing you do is you kind of lie there for a second and assess the damage, right? Oh, there are purple hibiscus. Ooh, that sounds good. I can, oh, okay. I need to go and do some exploring. Maybe I need to Google some and see what I can come up with. All right, so I'm going to wipe this off. I'm actually happy with that. I think that's looking really, really nice. You can still see the lines a bit, but not nearly as harsh as, you know, using Stays On or something like that. So I'm going to go Poppy Parade, which is a great orange red. Oh, it happens. But, you know, the first thing you do, you lie there and you think, okay, am I all right? The first thing I actually thought as I was going down was like, that's going to hurt. And then I lied there for a second and thought, okay, I'm still in one piece. I seem to be okay. And then the third thing you think is, did anyone see that happen? Was anyone watching? Oh, my gosh. Right? Everyone knows what I'm talking about. I know they do. Now, this one might be tricky because we probably are going to lose the definition of that stamen in the middle. So I'm going to try and go a little bit lighter there and darker elsewhere. Going over my lines. And I'm going to darken up those edges because I really don't want to see the lines too much, but I don't want to completely lose where that stamen is. All right, so I'm going to go around again. How are we doing for time? Just under 15 minutes. Okay. So the nice thing about these three flowers, and you're thinking they stamp separate, that's kind of weird. It's because they match the dies and they match the embossing folder. And that's a really nice thing. I love having dies and embossing folders that match. So I'm not actually going to emboss these because I've watercolored them and I want the watercoloring to be the focus. But let me just squeeze a little bit of water through. So I like to add a bit more dark color around the edges to get rid of some of the lines. Right, yes, Leslie, falling on ice is less of a problem for us because we don't really have a lot of that. But I know, and my mother-in-law lives in Michigan, and she fell on the ice a couple of winters ago and broke her wrist. You know, when you know how you put your hand down trying to stop your fall, and yeah. So yeah, it's nasty stuff, that ice. All right, let me get rid of some of this color because I don't want that to be too dark right there. I want to still see that bit of stamen, but I'm going to darken it up around the edges here. So if there's any lines that you want to keep, like this design here in the middle, that's where you can add a bit more water so that you can you get a bit better definition. Now, I'm just going to go back in around the edges of some of these. And quite often having some of the edges darkened up helps create contrast between the two petals that are close together, so they don't all blend in together and they do look still like they are separate petals. So that's a good way to go when you're darkening up edges. Just sort of think about, okay, I want these to stand out, but I'm not putting any here in the middle because I want that stamen to still be visible. You can use the lines. So in, for example, see how like there's lots of little lines coming out. Where those lines are is where I imagine it would be darker anyway. So you can darken up on those and use them to guide you as to where maybe some of the shadow should be. So, and that can help make the lines look like they're part of it as well. Right, does that make sense what we're doing there? I can see I've missed a little bit here. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm thinking once again I'd like to darken up the middle of this. So let me quickly go back in again with, I cleaned it off before, but I'm going to use the early espresso again. I don't want to go, I could go black in the middle if I wanted to. Hang on a second. Now, if you want to take it straight from the ink pad, you can do it for a small amount, but just, I don't like doing that for more detailed coloring, but for a tiny, tiny little bit like that, you get away with it. I'm kind of just dotting this on. And same again here. And then you can, if you want to, add some, like you can dot where this stamen piece is. I'm going to dot it. Right, so that's how that's looking. Grey or navy, yeah, they would both look good too. You know, it's just a dark color. It doesn't really matter too much what it is. Now, we certainly can't see the lines as much as we could when we started. And so the flowers turn out really, really lovely. I'm just going to go in here with the die and I'm actually going to cut these out. All right, so you can see these cut out perfectly with this, and then we can add them to a card. Okay, so let's do that. I'm just going to quickly run it through my cut and emboss machine and cut them out. All right, so this is how they end up. So you have that little bit of a border around, which I think is nice. But you've now got these ready to use on a beautiful, any project. It would look fabulous. Now the embossing folder that goes with this also matches up with these, and I did a video about this on Sunday night. I'm actually thinking I might quickly, I've got some basic white, but I'm thinking, have I got, so I've got, let me grab my trimmer. I'm making a super fast card. I mean, it's not super fast. We just spent, what, half an hour doing the watercoloring? It's not super fast, but this part is super fast, actually putting it together. All right, so I'm going to have this. So I'd like to have this going across landscape. So you can kind of see there is a direction to these. So you want to put them in that way. I'm just going to run that through my cut and emboss machine. Now, something while I think of it that I need to mention to you guys. How nice are these? Aren't they lovely? I'm deciding, do I want a circle? No, I think I want, okay, this is one of the dies from this set. I just love white on white. I think it looks so nice. And we've got congratulations, you make me smile. I'm going to use you make me smile. That's nice because you guys always make me smile every single time I do a live. Thank you, Sylvega. You know what? It's just a case of going not too quickly, but, you know, just going slow enough that you feel like you can control to a certain degree what is happening with your ink. So I'm going to use Poppy Parade because that's the color that's here. Interestingly, this has dried lighter a little bit, and they both have, but you know, it started out peach and it's got a lot more yellow to it now than it had when I started. But it is peach and peach pie and pumpkin pie. Yeah, pumpkin. All different types of pie. There you go. All right, so I'm going to have this You Make Me Smile right about here. Actually, I'm thinking maybe this one, and then I might actually color this one up as well and add it further over. Also, a couple of leaves would be really nice on this, and there's a really nice leaf die in this set that I've been using a lot, and it's this one. It does like a little veined leaf, really, really beautiful. The card that I did on Sunday night was this one, and see how nice these leaves are. So that would look really nice with this as well. So I'll probably add a couple of those to finish off this card, because it doesn't look like I'm going to get my card finished today. That's okay. They look even better. I know they do, right? So it's just a great set. I'm really, really happy. Now, this set is the subject of my Zoom class happening later in the month. And I'm putting up a post on my blog today all about the Zoom class. If anyone would like to find out more about it. The thing with the Zoom class is you do need to be able to do the Zoom class where we all make cards together. There's 3 projects, and you actually need to have the Happy Hibiscus bundle to do the class, okay? So it's lhiggins.blogspot.com. So if you are one of my customers, or if you are in Australia, you are very welcome to buy the Happy Hibiscus bundle from me in my online store. And all the details for the online store will be immediately available after this video in the description below on YouTube, okay? But also, if you go to that blog, you can also, there's a shop now button there as well. So if you're in Australia, you can do that and you can be part of the class. However, some people can't order for whatever reason from me. They maybe are demonstrators themselves, or maybe they're overseas, or there's lots of reasons. If you have the set, you can purchase the Zoom class for $15 Australian, okay, which is about $10 US, roughly. I am limited with how many people I can have, but so far I have not reached those numbers. But who knows? There's always a first time. One time I'm sure that will happen, but at that point I'll worry about that. But right now that hasn't happened. Also, team members get to be part of this as well. So if you're in any of those situations and you would like to do the Zoom class with me, I have nominated, let me quickly find my diary. I have not nominated Thursday, the 21st of November for the Zoom class. So a little earlier. In the past, I've held it like in the last couple of days of the month, but this month it'll be a little bit earlier. So the 21st is the date, Thursday the 21st, at this 2 p.m. time. So anyone is welcome to join me. The nice thing about a Zoom is that we all get to craft together, and we all get to, we all get to be part of it. And, there's something really lovely about getting crafty ladies together, or crafty people together, I should say. But yes, later today you'll be able to go to the lhiggins.blogspot. The other place to find out about things like this is to be on my email mailing list. So if you are, you can also go to the lhiggins.blogspot address, and there's a sign-up form for the email list there as well. So both of those things are great. I will actually be sending out an email newsletter this afternoon. So if you'd like to receive that with all the news about all the specials and some video tutorials and photos of my favorite things and all sorts of stuff, please do subscribe to that, because that's a really helpful way to get your information. All right. If anyone wonders too, I send out those newsletters around about once a week, roughly. All right, we are right on 3 o'clock. I'm about to finish off these cards and post the first one up on social media. So if you follow me on social media, you will see that. How do we do today? What do you think, guys? Do we like this? Is this something that people would like to try? Oh, good. Excellent. Yay. I'm so glad to share another Zoom class with some of you. And we've done a couple now, and they've gone really well. And I think people, the Zoom was something I discovered during COVID. I did a lot of Zooming during COVID, and I haven't really used it a lot since. I'm kind of getting back into using it again, because it's a great way of joining people together from everywhere, from all around the world. Okay. SU needs a lemon meringue or key lime pie colour. I think lemon lolly is on its way, but it's not quite citrusy enough, is it? I agree. Oh, Leslie, that's no good. Goodness me. Oh, I hope your hibiscus recovers, Laurie. That would be good because they're beautiful, aren't they? Very Hawaiian kind of. That's what it reminds me of. All right, so I'm going to say bye-bye. If you're in a sweep, happy Melbourne Cup Day, and I hope you're a winner. And if you're not into horse racing and that's not your thing, that's okay. Me too. I will see you all back here if you're interested tomorrow. Yes, I know, Wednesday. What am I doing on a Wednesday? The first Wednesday of every month I have designated as a scrapbooking workshop day. So I'm going to do a little scrapbook layout with you for anyone who's interested in that. And we're going to be playing with something different tomorrow, something I haven't used on a video before. And it'll be, I haven't actually scheduled it, 11:30 or 12 o'clock tomorrow. So a couple of hours earlier than this one. Okay, guys. You all have a fabulous day. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, it's a good one for you. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.